And we're back with me, Johnny McMurray, on the On the Spot Football Podcast with another fantastic guest. This guy has arguably scored one of the best goals in Irish League history and done the stuff of dreams, the likes of Ronaldo and Messi do on the regular. You got to do it just the once, but it's more than everybody else. So, Matty, how are you?
I'm good, Johnny. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for giving me a shout. Mate, actually, I was so excited whenever I actually got in contact. Alan sent me a message and it was like, this is arguably one of the best stories probably to come out of the Irish League ever. So, mate, I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time.
Yeah, no problem.
How's things?
Good, yeah. Just working away. Not really up to much these days. Not playing football or nothing now. Not much really to say.
No coaching, no nothing?
No, I've been asked to do a bit of coaching for kids, a kids team, so it's something I'm thinking about. I still get asked the odd time from amateur league teams, do I want to come down? I sort of agreed to it, but then I changed my mind. I don't think I'll ever go back playing now.
No.
I haven't played in 6 years, so a couple of injuries, so nah.
Injuries kind of knock you, don't they? So I mean, I'm in the same boat here. I'm feeling their pain. But I mean, what I want to do is, obviously, I'm really appreciative that you've came on. One of the, as I say just before in the intro, one of the best stories that has probably ever happened for a single person in the Irish League, getting to experience what you experienced. So we're going to go through that in quite a bit of detail at some stage. But what I want to know is, and what I want the guests to know, and I usually run the same way through all the podcasts, but who is Matty Burrows? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Bangor. So mum and dad, 3 brothers. Mum and dad still married this day, so do anything for you. I was just always out with the football from when I can remember. Whether it was out with my mates or sometimes my own, or torturing my dad to come out with me. I was up maybe wrecking someone's heads or using the gate as a net. It's just flat out. Just love football. Just really active.
Any other brothers or anything play football with? Like, did they go on and play? No, just you. You just had the bug then from a young.
I just loved it. Yep.
What about in terms of like when you were a kid? You grew up in Bangor. Any sort of teams that were regulars for you? Is there like a team down there that most of the kids would have went to at that age, or?
No, well, I got scared by St Andrews when I was 8.
Do you know? Sorry, I jump in there, but so many people at that young age went to St Andrews. It's crazy. Like, I'm sorry to jump in, but I think Gary Hamilton done it, David McAlinton done it. All these people seem to be attracted, and it always seems to be that one man, Mr. Kincaid, that kind of brings everyone together. Yeah. How was that for you?
Brilliant. I mean, we used to just go a season unbeaten. I think Dungoyne were the closest to us, but we were just the best about. St Andrews were the best about. So like I say, I was 8. I didn't even realise I was that young. My mum told me there last night. So Joe, he scared of me. He was a Rangers scout also, but so my dad was just driving me up to training matches for St Andrews.
Where's St Andrews based?
We used to train at Albert Friendly's ground.
Right, okay.
So my dad would have drove me up there, but I was always sort of top goal scorer every season from what I can remember. I was there a good few years. And then my mate wanted me down at Hollywood Boys, my best mate, and he was torturing me, and that's how I ended up leaving. It was probably a mistake because they ended up folding a couple of years after.
Right.
So, but no, St Andrews were brilliant, yeah.
See, whenever you played at St Andrews, what other sort of players were around at that age? Who would have been in your team? Any recognisable faces or names?
Darryl Fordyce.
No, Darryl, yeah. Darryl's coaching in Canada.
Dean Newell was playing.
Probably like an all-star select team from back in the day.
Well, I think Steve Davis and Chris Brunt was a year above me.
Right, okay.
It seems like St Andrews, all the best players went through here. I don't know. But no, it was a good setup. It's good.
It's one of those
learning curve, do you know what I mean?
It's one of those things too at St Andrews where like it always seems to be the wee club that takes kids from a young age, and then they get to a certain age, maybe 13s, 14s, move on to the likes of the Cliftonville's, the Linfields, the Glentorans.
Well, I had an affiliation with Linfield and then Rangers, obviously, because of Joe. I remember we went over one year to play Rangers at Ibrox. They've got like a 3 or 4G pitch right the front of Ibrox, and Rangers take us 10-0.
Right, okay.
So that was
learning curve there.
And that was that. You know, we thought we were good, but then
you're battering people every Saturday, and you go across a wee bit of full-time football. You kind of
you understand it. No, that was it. So when I was 11, Walsall wanted me to come over for a trial. But at that time, I was just too young. I didn't want to leave my mum at 11. Do you know what I mean? So I turned it down and didn't want to go. Just, so yeah, I went on the Hollywood Boys. They folded, and then I think I went to East Belfast it was only a few months. And then I can't really remember. I think I just lost interest. My mates were always sort of a few years older than me.
Right, okay.
So they were starting to go out to the bars and the clubs and all that there, and then I was starting to go. And I think that just turned my head, if you know what I mean. Going to music festivals and going to Shine and places I got there, which was mad. It was like something out of Walking Dead, like. But so I didn't think about football for a few years. I was just happy doing that and going out with my mates.
Do you think that kind of led you back into football though? Did you have like a wee bit of a missing spark there where you were like, kind of doing all this with my mates, it's good crack, going out, getting steaming, having a bit of back, and then at the same time you're sitting going, kind of miss playing?
Yeah, it was a couple of boys I know, they were talking about football. They were playing that day and they were talking about it and they were trying to get me in more. I listened to them. I was like, why am I not playing? It's just one of them ones. That was for Bangor Swifts. So I was like, get me down. I just wanted to see where I was at, if you know what I mean, more than anything, because a few years out, run the moke. So I ended up going down to under 18s, and then I was quickly brought into the first team. I scored 42 goals one season. Dundela were looking at me, so it all moved very quick. Do you know what I mean? So I ended up I ended up at the Duns anyway. Yeah.
So first season back, you bang in 42. You haven't really missed it that much then. You've kind of just settled straight in. You're ready to go again.
Yeah, it was maybe a wee bit rusty at the start, but
I like 3 or 4 days, and then you're like, that's off. Kick that clear.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just love scoring goals. I was always obsessed with scoring goals.
I think that's what's different now. If you're playing and you're a centre forward now, and you look at other centre forwards or kids playing, it's all about dropping in, getting touches of the ball, and playing.
Yeah,
that was probably the last thing in your mind back in the day.
That was never my game.
Put it in behind, let me run after, let me score.
I was always very quick, so I was always on the shoulder. I like to pull in the left, pull the defender to the left or the right, or else through the middle, but I was just always on the turn ready for the ball over the top. I probably should have worked more at coming for the ball, but I didn't care back then. I was just like, right, get me away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you've got your strengths, you got to use them, don't you? And if you know that I'm going to beat this guy in a race, there's no need for me to drop in and try and play or link up and do things. You can just score goals. What's the point in doing anything else?
Well, once I got away, I think back then it would have been hard for anyone to catch me.
Yeah.
It was quick, like. So my first season at Dundela, I ended up top goal scorer with 12 goals, but weren't really snapples. I just took over from Mervyn Bell. His first season as a manager, we finished about mid-table. So I jumped about 6 leagues, something like that there. So it was a wee bit of a learning curve the first season, 12 goals, not really.
I mean, it's still a good return considering where you came from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in terms of where you probably wanted to be, you're sitting going, like, I've learned now the ins and outs of this league. You've went to arguably probably one of the smallest grounds in the country. It's a tight-knit wee ground. There's nothing really to it, and it's, I don't know how to describe the shape of that pitch at times, but it's mental.
It was a small pitch. I actually prefer playing on bigger pitches so I could run on to, but I got used to the hen run. What's it called? That sort of goes up on the hill on one side.
It does, so strange.
It's small, but I ended up scoring a lot of goals there, so,
it didn't bother
I got used to it,
Yeah.
But then the second season, that's when I really kicked on. And I was just on fire. I was just scoring every week. I think I had 44 goals by Christmas. 7 hat-tricks that year. Snapples used to give me the match ball and they stopped giving me match balls.
Couldn't afford to give
them.
Couldn't afford to give you them.
Aye, so like I say, so 44 by Christmas. And then that's when the Irish League team started coming in. So there was Glentoran, there was 7 all in, Crusaders, I think. Teams that got there, but Glentoran, they were the only ones to tap me up.
Right.
So my manager doesn't even know that there, but I told them no, they're not tapping me up.
Everybody.
So they were meeting me in the Marine Court Hotel in Bangor and stuff like this here. Al McDonald, Aubrey Ralph, just name and shame them there.
Yeah, here it happened.
Listen,
Back when
everyone taps up players, do you know what I mean? It's nothing new.
Too small of a league Do you know what I mean? Everybody knows each other, and it's just a matter. And let's be honest, most people are friendly in this league, so everyone's got everyone's number. Everybody can text each other, or somebody gets a number and texts it and passes it on. It's too small of a place for you not to know each other. So, but no, I think that's normal. But I want to hold you there because you went from probably 6 divisions, as you say,
I think
or
it was
6 divisions.
3C or something it was.
So you're in the 3C. You've played. You've done well. You moved to Dundela, and then your first season you get 12. Your second season you end up with 44 Christmas.
44.
That's a serious jump for anybody
Mm-hmm.
at that stage. How easy did you find it at that stage playing for the Duns and thinking, I just need to move on now, probably at that stage? Or were you content there? Did you think, I want to stay?
I was content. I loved Dundela, you know, that's sort of where I sort of made my mark, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great wee club and they look after you. 44 goals at Christmas. I was starting to get a bit of attention media wise. Snapbles was just telling me to keep my feet in the ground, stuff like that there. We had a Steel and Sons Cup final to come up. So I'd scored in every goal or every game leading up to the final. And then we got Ballyclare in the final on Christmas morning. I probably had one of my worst games of the season, like.
Yes.
But we were leading 1-0. I was getting a lot of stick from the Ballyclare fans. So I just said to myself, see if I scoring on a run the length of the pitch right up to their supporters. I actually scored a header. I didn't really score many headers, but I scored late on, made it 2-0. That was it, game over. And I've ran the whole way to the away end.
Matty Burrows here, straight up the oar.
I went through a bottle of WKD at me. And I was going to grab it and take a drink out of it and went, nah, I'm just moving my head, just missed my head. But
imagine the picture of Christmas Day and you're standing there with WKD.
No, I don't think they were too happy with me, but it's football.
So see at this stage, are you thinking, you talk about the clubs there that's came in, the likes of Glens, Linfield, Cliftonville.
No, Linfield don't think we're in, but Crusaders, Lisburn Distillery in the Premier at that time, Ballymena.
Was it always the Glens?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Would you say to yourself you'd be a Glens supporter back then, or was it just the Glens?
I didn't really follow Irish League that much, to be honest, when I was younger. I was only really want to get into it, and then I took an interest, but when Glentoran comes in for you, you know.
Huge club, isn't it?
Huge club. They had a great side as well. Yeah, I knew it was going to be difficult to break in, but I just wanted to go to the Glentoran. I had a good feeling about it. So they were wanting to sign me in January.
Okay.
They wanted me right away. I don't think their strikers were... Well, they had good strikers anyway. They had Hamilton and Halliday up front and take players that got there. But they weren't really scoring, so they needed a goal scorer, but I just didn't want to go in January because I wanted to wait the pre-season. We'll get a pre-season under my belt. I thought that would be better.
Give yourself like a proper start.
I'm not to go straight into deep end, you know, because I'm going to be jumping. It's another massive jump to go to Glentoran, you know, from Dundela, even though it's only a league below.
Yeah.
Also, the Northern Ireland junior team, was going to be called up for that there to go to the Isle of Man to play a tournament. We're playing against Scotland, Isle of Man, Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get the cap for that, because once you go to the Irish League, then you're ruled out of that.
You can't go. Yeah.
But it was mainly just to get a good pre-season under my belt.
See, at this stage, when you're talking about the players that are already there, did somebody advise you to maybe stay and hold fire, or was this you just thinking, I'd rather wait myself?
No, I don't think so, no. I think they wanted me to stay. Dundela wanted me to stay.
As a selfish point of view, but like, here, you're banging them in here, you stay for us, we win the league that way.
Once I told him I was staying to the end of the season, I think he was happy. I remember he said it in the dressing room, you know, fair play to him, he's going to stay to the end of the season. So, no, I think that was the right thing to do. Yep.
You make a move to Glens. Is that probably one of the proudest moments in football for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. As I said before, you know, I knew it was going to be a big jump. I was going to have a lot of competition, but nothing really fazed me then. I was so confident that season. Just everything I touched was going in the net. So going off that sort of season in the Glentoran, I knew I was going to be playing with better players around me. So in my head, I was going, right, well, if you've Gary Hamilton behind you, who's probably the best player in the league. Well, he was, in my opinion. You had a lot of Darryl Fordyce, Richard Clark came up later on. Kyle Neal was playing, Callum Nixon, Leaper, Elliot Morris. It was just a really good side. Halliday. So yeah, I signed a pre-contract, and then they signed Andy Waterworth from Hamilton. So it was like, flip me, because I spent a lot of money on him. So that was another one I knew was going to be. I thought that if I spend so much money on him, he's going to have to play no matter what.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that was in my head, but no, I felt like I made the right decision at the time.
You started Glens, your first game was in Europe.
Yeah, I don't remember playing the first game. I was a Latvian side.
Latvian side, yeah.
I can't remember her name.
To be honest, I don't actually want to actually say his name, but is it Leipas Metallurg?
I just remember it was in Riga.
Horrible name, that, no harm. That's
No.
making me look like a complete idiot.
No, I don't remember playing the home game. Before that, they're actually the pre-season. So I was wanting to get a good pre-season under my belt, but I went on holiday and I came back and was meant to go to pre-season, but I came back with salmonella.
Okay.
And I was sick as a dog for 2 weeks. I couldn't eat or nothing. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I had to go and get tests and found out it was salmonella, but I lost a lot of weight. I was just weak, and I was like, this is the worst start ever,
Especially after you've planned this, you're sitting going like, I'll get a good run in here, I'll go on holiday, come back.
Yeah.
And then it's been the complete opposite to what you've focused on for 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Obviously a good...
Why I held off. I wanted a good pre-season, then I got salmonella. So I didn't have much luck there. It took me, I was just really weak. I'd lost a bit of pace and stuff like that there, and it took me a good while, to get my fitness back. Yeah.
So you go into Europe, so in a quick space of time here, you've went from 3C to playing in Championship to playing in Europe. It's a meteoric rise for anybody to get to that stage. Were you still confident at this stage playing in Europe? Were you still like, I'm still ready to go, I've just come off the back of a season and I'm fitting in? Or did you find it like the level was too high?
Europe probably wasn't even, fit at that point, but I was brought over to Riga in Latvia. We were getting beat 1-0. Their players were diving and running about and crying. I didn't like the way they were getting on, but they brought me off the bench actually. I think within about 5 minutes I got sent off. Because one of the guys who was rolling about, I waited for the referee to go past, and then I just stuck the boot in him.
Right, okay.
A little bit down Gurnan, so but it was the linesman see me. Now it was silly, I'm not saying you should do that. I don't know why I'd done that. That was the only red card I've ever had in my career. I had a lot of yellow cards, probably for slabbering the ref or something, but not.
Yeah, I'm right with you. Like I like 10 to 1 every week. Like I'm getting one every week at some stage, and it's usually for shooting the
or kicking the ball away or something. No, just frustration. I would get really frustrated at referees, but yeah, it was probably it was a silly thing.
You're straight into the Glens and you get a red.
Yeah.
That's mental. Like,
it was a red card. I think I got a 3 or 4 game ban as well. So like, flip, that's my European career over. But
it's only started. So you make your way in that team though. So you've played in Europe. You kind of get yourself back fit. What's it like? How do you compare the Irish League and the Championship at that stage? Is it a bigger difference then than it is now, do you think? Or do you think it's bigger now?
No, I still think it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Fitness-wise, every way, quality-wise. Like, that's some of the players I was playing with there, do you know what I mean? So,
that Glens team,
I still think it's a big difference. Like, yeah.
The Glens team that you talk about there is like an all-star Glens team. That's probably the shining light, that team. Because I think from the research and speaking to you end up doing quite well that season. The first season that you signed, how does that pan out for you?
So I thought it was obviously I wasn't well and wasn't fit. So I came to September and Al McDonald said, look, I think you should go out and loan, get your fitness back, get your sharpness back. I couldn't go to an Irish League side because it was September on loan. So Loughgall won the league before with Niall Curry. And they were wanting me, so I decided to go with Loughgall because they're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
So I hit the ground running there. Had a great time at Loughgall, great club. It was good crack. So I was only there from September to January. I scored 25 goals the January I was flying. I was playing with good players around me as well. Wingers were actually getting behind, they were crossing in the box, and I was just putting it in the net. So I got my sharpness back, and you know, I felt I was back to my best, if you know what I mean. So 25 goals, and I think I only got beat by 1 goal in the last game of the season for the league's top scorer. But luck all we won the league that year, even though it was only on loan a few months.
So you played 4 months and almost won top goal scorer in the championship?
I think 3 months I think it was. But Glentoran, they still wanted me training with them on a Thursday night. I would go down to Lockall on a Tuesday night, and then I would train with Glens on the Thursday.
Here's some journey going from Bangor to Lockall, boy.
I was Bangor there. I live in Belfast now, but yeah, back then I would have been travelling from Bangor a lot.
Serious journey, like.
I used to meet Robbo in Lisburn, and he would have drove on down from there. You know, him and Mickey McKeown. They used to smoke fags like mad, like just chain smoke all the time. Like.
Windows up.
Aye,
Killing you.
Smoked out, but no, I really enjoyed it there, and ended up I came back to Glens. Yeah.
Whenever you sign back for the Glens then in January, how does the rest of that season pan out for you?
I think it was only back a couple of games. I got brought off the bench. We were getting beat by Bangor 1-0 at Dover. The Bangor was in Irish League at the time. And they brought me off the bench, and I scored an overhead kick from about 17 yards in the top corner.
Good way to come back.
Yep. That was my first goal for the Glens. I think there's a DVD of it somewhere, like, but it's one of the best goals I've scored, like.
DVD, it's so mad.
Oh, do I even have a DVD player? I've got DVDs, like. But, so I came on, scored that. We scored another one, so we went 2-1. Then I set up Dean Fitzgerald for the third, 1-3-1. Then there was another Institute were beating us. I came on and scored 2, and I think I might have got an assist in that one. That was really important sort of goals, if you know what I mean, because we're going for the league. You know, we're going for the league title that year. But my favourite goal I've ever scored was on the last game of the season.
Right.
Against Cliftonville. So we needed to win the match just to win the league. Linfield were behind us. If they won and we drew, Linfield was going to win the league.
Okay. So it's that close, pressure's on type thing.
So I was on the bench. I think Halliday and Hamilton were up front. I think we were winning 1-0. 1-0 or 2-0. They told me and Andy Waterworth to get warmed up. And then they brought Waterworth on, and I was raging. Because I just had a feeling I was going to score.
Yeah.
And I come on, always down for the Glens. So they brought him on anyway, and he done one sprint and pulled his hamstring.
Right. Sniper.
And then Scotty Young's like, right,
get ready.
And I think I came on within about 2 minutes, the ball's come over the tab. And I sort of dummy the defender as if I'm going to head it, and he's jumped up to head it back to the keeper, but I've ran on.
Okay.
The keeper's come out and I've lobbed it over the keeper's head. And then the feeling that I had, the adrenaline, so I've sprinted towards the advertising boards. And as I've got closer, the Sydney man was packed at the Oval, but as I've got closer, am I going to clear this? I have to clear this, or I'm going to look like a dick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're full sprint at this stage.
Cleared it about that much. And then I was up on the wall, and the Sydney man, we knew that was it. It sealed the league.
Yeah.
You knew that was game over. I think it was 3-0. It was late on, but Cliftonville ended up scoring after that.
Right, okay.
So I was up on the wall, and then I think there was about 6 or 7 other players joined me on the wall, and it was just party time, man. It was like the fans championing, you know, all that there. No, that was my best feeling ever, scoring a goal. The best feeling I've ever had seeing my kids being born, but then that was number 2.
That's close number 2.
I still feel it now, you know, the feeling, you know, just even talking about it.
It's hard to describe too, like the euphoria you go into whenever something means that much to you. Like you're playing, you've dedicated all this time to potentially trying to score a goal, and it means you've won something at the end of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no. No, it was great. And then all the fans, they all ran on the pitch and all afterwards and giving you scarves and all out there. And
going ballistic.
And the celebration started. Went to Park Avenue. We were meeting fans, and then the Westburn. You just weren't banning a drink or nothing. No, it was great. But I always had a really good connection. I felt like Glentoran fans used to sing a song and all for me, and it gave me a real buzz. Mm-hmm. So like if I was trying to sort of break into the team, but they would have been singing for me to come on.
Right,
So
okay.
I suppose I probably made it more of a name back then as an impact player. 'Cause as soon as I came on, something I seemed to make something happen or score important goals. So they were always, that there just gave me a real buzz, and I wanted to do well for them.
What age would you have been at this stage?
23, I think.
23.
23.
So you're still relatively young,
Yeah.
and you've went and played. You've scored a league winner. I think I'm right in saying that the Glens haven't won the league since.
No, they haven't won it, which is unbelievable. 2009. So
Such a big club to go this length of time without that. Pressure's obviously building every year, isn't it? And you always think that they're going to kick on and do stuff, but you're the man that scored the winner. 2009. That's kind of the last time they were able to celebrate that.
Oh, it's hard to believe. Like, I still want them to win the league. Hopefully they can do it soon. I'm sure they will, but I think it's a bit too long for Glentoran to be winning the league.
Your first season turns out to be a success. Your second season, you have a big spell too. You end up winning the League Cup.
Second season, yep. So I beat Coleraine in the final at Windsor. Went to penalties, and I scored the winning penalty. So, and that was the last time Glentoran have won the League Cup. So that's 15 years ago. So that's mad.
Maybe the Glens need to send you back. There's a couple of people getting jobs out of this.
Oh,
You may need to go back there in some sort of capacity, mate. You might be able to.
it's hard to believe, like. But then the County Antrim Shield, we won that. We beat Linfield in the final at Windsor. Beat them 3-1. I scored, got man of the match and that. So that was the 3, you know.
3 trophies straight in, like within 2 years, 3 years, the Glens.
Yeah.
It's hard winning silverware in the Irish League, never mind, but you've come straight into a team. It's an all-star team. You won the league, won the League Cup, won the County Antrim Shield. Kind of seems like you can't really go any higher.
No, I was buzzing, yep.
But you do go a wee bit higher.
Oh, yes.
So, now if I'm right in saying the 5th of October 2010.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that day.
It was a midweek game, so we were playing Portadown that night. And it was one of the worst games ever. I think the second half, I don't even think it was a shot in the second half. So it was 0-0. They've come off the bench again, but so Johnny Black's got it on the left side. Johnny Black has a wonder left foot, but he sort of shanked us.
Ridiculous left foot Johnny has.
So I'm sort of at the penalty area. Johnny's sort of shanked it into me, and I've had to come out and meet the ball. There's nobody behind me, and I've just improvised on it. It was sort of instinct. I just went for it and just caught it perfectly, and I just flicked it and turned, and it just went in the top corner.
It's mental. Like I obviously, since we're sorry to jump in, but since we've spoke, I must have watched it 50 times.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I don't know how to describe it. You've just described you've ran back out from the penalty spot, and I don't know how you've twisted your body or flung your legs the way you did, but it's incredible.
Yeah. No, it's just one of them things. I would have tried stuff like that in training, you know, maybe not that far out, but I was always trying me flicks and stuff. Snapples at the done just to tell me knock the flicks in the head, because if you don't get it right, you know what I mean.
People be like,
sometimes you should
hold it in. You're sitting going like, leave me alone.
Hold it in, but there was nobody even around me, I don't think.
No.
I scored that, and there was nobody behind me. So it was an 83rd minute. I'm just thinking, right, try and get a good connection to this, and I've just twisted my body and I've flicked it right into the top corner. I wasn't thinking at the time that's a wonder goal or nothing, because it put us top of the league.
Yeah.
In October. So I was just thinking, like, last minute winner, you know, I ran over to celebrate with the fans, and it wasn't until after the match, I think it was Jimmy Gallagher come down. I'm not sure if he was injured, or he came down from the director's box and says, Matty, what was that there all about? And I just laughed. So after that there, it just started going a wee bit mad, you know, Talk Sport and stuff were ringing me. I think there was about 1 million hits in a day or two on YouTube.
There's 2 videos that I seen when I was doing a wee bit of research, and even now you're probably sitting at over 15 million.
Is it?
15 million.
I thought it was less than that, but
it's
good, isn't it?
It's insane. It is insane. Yeah. Like when you think about being like scoring goals, people score mad goals all the time. But I don't think I've seen one after this, and this is what I want to talk to you about. And I think that you've been hard done by here, but I'll get to it. straight after this question that I want to come up, but what was it like? So you've just scored this goal. Within a day or two, you've got all these views, all these hits, people are torturing you. What I want to know from you is, you get nominated for an award against some of the best footballers on the planet. Some of the best footballers, even now, are still getting those awards, still getting those accolades. What's it like from a young lad from Bangor to be nominated for a Puskás Award?
It was surreal. I remember I used to, in all the interviews that I done, I used to always say it's just surreal. And Colin Nixon used to torture me for it. But that was just, it was surreal. I was just getting tortured then at Sky Sports. I won Sky Sports Goal of the Week. It was voted for that there. Sky Sports were coming over, video interviews, and I was doing a lot of interviews just for magazines, Sue Magazine, FHM. There was all sorts going on. And then Alison Brownlee, she was the secretary of Glentoran. She rang me one day and she got an email from FIFA saying I'd been nominated for the top 10 goals in the world for the Puskás Award. And they were flying me out to Zurich in Switzerland, business class flights, staying in the 5-star Park Hyatt Hotel in Switzerland.
Unreal.
So I was absolutely buzzing. I didn't care if I was going to win it. I just like, I'm going this Ballon d'Or. I don't care if I win, because it's just unique. And I don't think anyone else in this country is ever going to get the hopefully they will, and they'll get the experience that I did. But I just don't think it'll happen. Like,
I personally agree with you. I don't think that anybody's going to score a goal that will even come close. Genuinely.
Thanks.
But what I want to say to you is, you get offered all this. So they've came to you, came to the Glens, they've offered to fly you out, do all this magical stuff, and you go. What's the experience like of you turning up? Obviously, it's like a red carpet sort of event. You're there, probably got the suit and all on, looking to the nines. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I got in contact, or I was put in contact with a PR company, so they were sort of doing a bit of work for me, because my phone was just going constantly. I was starting to do my head in a wee bit, you know.
Right, okay.
And it was just sort of the same interviews over and over again. So
kind of like this.
He set me up with Ronaldo, so they were gonna give me a suit to go in. And then she asked me would I do modelling, and I was like, I'm not a model. Didn't really want to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, no, I think this is going to be a good thing. It'll be good. You're going to be wearing this suit to the Ballon d'Or. So I agreed to it. And then we went to, it was Victoria Square in Belfast during the day, and people are shopping. And I'm on top of the counter of the Ronaldo shop, posing. Chinese people are walking past taking photos. They must think I'm some sort of superstar. I was just like, whoa, what is this all about? But yeah, just wee things like that. They were wanting me to do a spray tan to go to the Ballon d'Or, remember that?
No way.
And back then,
imagine
that was a no-go. Even now,
you wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't do a spray tan now. And she was going, no, this is a good one. It's one Pete Snodden and all uses now. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I've just done modelling, which I'm not a model, but I'm not doing spray tans.
I mean, imagine you did and you turned out orange, like were you blue or something?
Like
hilarious.
Cristiano Ronaldo's brother, you know what I mean? But see, looking at the photographs, it was like Casper the Ghost compared to them players. So maybe I should have done one, but nah.
Mate, you'd never live that down. Somebody got that picture, bright orange, you'd have been like, absolutely no chance.
I know.
Here, you made a smart decision, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So you do all this stuff. I need to know, did you pay for it? Like,
No.
Please tell me you went there.
Now.
But to say Remo
interviews and stuff.
No, but like if you're modelling on top of a counter in Remo Sumo, 13 have went here, there's 250 going, son.
No, they gave me the suit. And they brought me up to their outlet there. I can't remember what it was. Is it Lauren or Carrick or something? And they just let me walk in and pick whatever I wanted. So just grabbing jeans and leather jackets now. I know all sorts of stuff.
Great.
I have no actual like money for doing it, like, no.
Talk to me about actually being at the event. So what's that like? Surely I can't comprehend. I don't know if it was excitement, nerves. Like you're around the best footballers, like people you watch on TV every week, sitting going like, there's Ronaldo over in the corner and there's Messi in that corner, and talk to me about that.
We flew out from Dublin Airport. It was me and Aubrey Ralph. I had to go with a representative of the club. I think I was the only nominee that had to do that. Maybe it's because it didn't know anything about me.
Right, okay.
So,
Well, it wouldn't.
but no, I had to go. So I chose to go with Aubrey. So flew out from Dublin to Zurich, business class. And when we were sitting there, I remember Aubrey saying to me, "Have you got a speech wrote out?" And he says, "Wise up, I'm not going to win this." He says, "I'm being serious. If you win this, you're going to be standing up in front of the whole world. Messi and Ronaldo's going to be in the front seat." And I was like, Jack Daniels and Coke.
Just relax.
And then I got a pen and started writing. I can't remember what I wrote. I would tell you if I did.
The only thing is, you
So
can
I
say,
started getting a bit nervous because
yeah,
I remember there was an American guy come over from CNN News to the Oval and he was interviewing me on the pitch. And he said, "I've been told by a good source you've won this. You're going to win this." I was favourite in the bookies to win it as well. So I suppose part of me was a bit nervous, but I was probably more excited. So we flew over anyway, get to Zurich, and we're coming off the steps of the plane, and there's a blonde girl with sent my placard with my name on it.
good
And
luck.
a Lexus. She was decent. So there's a Lexus car beside her. It says, "Come with me." So jump into the Lexus and everyone's looking at me because they're all getting on a bus to go over to the airport. So I get into this car anyway and she drives me over and then I have a chaperone.
Right.
So I meet my chaperone and he's carrying my bags for me. Get into, I think it was a black Mercedes and drove to the hotel. The chaperone was going through what was going to be happening and stuff like that there. So get to the hotel and I was just straight up, get showered, changed into the suit, and then we went down to the lobby. It was me and Aubrey just sitting having a pint. Next thing I turn around and Wesley Sneijder's just standing there on his phone.
Wesley's not having a pint like.
Now Wesley Sneijder, he was favourite for the Ballon d'Or that year. I was the year Inter Milan won the treble, do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Messi ended up winning the Ballon d'Or that year, but he was some player, but he was standing there and then the next thing Ronaldo comes in with all the cameras all around him. He wasn't dressed in a suit yet, but he was, just dressed in normal clothes. And he was like, "Oh, there's Ronaldo, you're
So
like,
mental.
sitting there." He says, "But I'm not going to go over now. I'll wait until we're all in the same room and then, we'll get photographs, whatever." So that was all right. So then there was a black Mercedes picked me up from the hotel to drive us round to the Ballon d'Or, which I probably could have walked. And then my chaperone says to me, "Right, you've got to walk down the red carpet here." And he was like, "What? Red carpet? And there's fans from all across the world, on your left." He says, "Flip me, nobody's going to know who I am here, but I had to do it. I had to go through to get in the Ballon d'Or." So who's in front of me? Michel Platini.
Right.
So I'm walking behind Michel Platini, trying to go as fast as I can. He's signing all the autographs, and I just get the head down, scoot round him. And this Argentina tap comes out, the black marker. And I'm like, at the corner of my eye, I just sign it. And then
See, like,
down. But at least I got one autograph, at the Ballon d'Or.
I'm not going to lie to you, if that's me, mate, I'm waving though. Get a hat or something though, and I'm signing everything I can. I'm taking that in.
Yeah.
Just shows you too, though. You're probably just like, I can't. This isn't me. Whereas they're mega stars,
I'm mega.
and you're just just get me out of here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is mental.
So that was it. So I went down. The BBC were actually over with me, Thomas Kane.
Thomas Griffith.
So we're doing interviews at the airport and all and stuff like that there. But he was down the red carpet. So I went and done an interview with him. And then walked into the Ballon d'Or. I had to go on the black carpet, it's called.
Right.
Where there's media from all across the world. And you had to go up on your own and they're taking photographs of you. So I walk up and then they started flashing the cameras and stuff. You're standing there going, you're sort of just stuff that you're not used to.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that there we went into, there was a room, I can't remember what you call this room. Gio from Bronkhorst was there. And Marco van Basten was sitting down on the chair. They were the only two in the room and then there was me. And Van Bronckhorst says to me, "Oh, the heel. And I was like, yes, Gio, I'm the heel, yeah. But he was up for the top 10 goals anyway, but he was really dead on, do you know what I mean? And he talks fluent English, and I says to him about Marco van Basten was sitting down, and he says, can I get a photo with Marco? And he says like that there, he was like, 1 minute. So I was waiting about, and he went over and said something in his ear, and he didn't even look up, and then I was waiting for a few minutes, and then he eventually came up and just stood beside me, just went like that there. I just thought he was an oddball, like a weirdo, like. But still, Marco van Basten, he's one of the best strippers of all time. Absolutely. So that was all right. And then you go into the FIFA President's Lounge. It was Sepp Blatter's lounge at the time, and it's only the nominees that are allowed in there.
So it was just you and then 10 others.
Well, that was the Puskás Award, but everyone for the Ballon d'Or was in there.
Oh, right,
so
okay. Sorry.
I'd actually brought a Barcelona tab over with me because I knew 7 of the Barcelona players were going to be there, and they were in the team of the year. Do you remember Guardiola was managing them?
Mm-hmm.
So they're maybe the best team of all time. I brought that over and got that signed by Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Piqué, Messi, Guardiola, and then David Villa.
Is this a thing where you've just been holding this shirt and you've went, lads?
No, well, I got Aubrey to...
Aubrey go. He said, Aubrey, go on, hurry up. Don't mess this up.
Aye, so he was running about one of them disposable cameras. But he had a Glentoran tab too, because they were in financial difficulties at the time, like.
Aubrey's thinking, I get the cash in for the tab.
He was getting everyone to sign it, so there was Burrows 12 in the back, that was my number. And he got Ronaldo and Messi and everyone in that room to sign that. Like, when would you ever get Ronaldo and Messi's signature on the same tab?
Are you able to keep this though?
No, they sold it.
Mate, no way. There's no way. I was thinking, like, he's going to do this for you. Like, Burrows, you get all this and you've went with a Barcelona tab. Surely you would have went with a Glen stuff.
No, they auctioned it, but some shirt to have for whoever got it. Like.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I was asking Aubrey, he says, look, there's Ronaldo, get a photograph, will you ask him? Because I didn't want to be running about, like, torturing players, you know, like a fan, even though I was a fan, like, but
absolutely.
I didn't want to be running about.
You didn't want to come across, like, I'm nominated for this award, here, can I
just trying to act normal.
Just trying to be like, oh.
Yeah. So I got a photograph with Ronaldo as well, and then I was talking with Mourinho, and Mourinho says to me, this is before the awards, he says, it's the best goal, and you should win it. And I think he was going to Real Madrid as a manager. He just won the treble, went there, but he was going to Real Madrid, and I was a wee bit half cut at this point because I was drinking champagne. There was these girls just walking about with champagne, and I was the only player in the room drinking it. Because...
Mate, that just sums us up, doesn't it? Like, everybody else professional, you're like, free champagne?
I was like, out there, full of fun. The cat there, like, in the champagne. And then, what happened? Aye, because all them players were all playing the Champions League the next night.
Right, okay.
And do you know who I was playing against? Ballymena United.
You tell people that, you'd be like, here, I have a game tomorrow night too, but going down to Ballymena showground.
So I was talking to Snyder, and he said, no, it's the most beautiful goal. He's never seen anything like it. So I text Scott Young, who was the manager at the time. And he says, Scotty, just leave me out of the squad tomorrow night. Wesley Snyder's just said, they've just scored the most beautiful goal he's ever seen. And he just sent back laughing faces, says, fair play, wee man. So, yeah, so I got the top signed by the Barcelona players. Messi, they were all standing on one side of the room, and then there was Real Madrid players on the other side. So we
just to be divided,
But Messi was sitting down on his own, like on a sofa, just sitting there. I was told by my chaperone that he didn't speak English or anything. But he was only one. I went and sat down beside him and just put my arm around him. And then just said, Aubrey, got a photo. And he was just looking at me like that, probably wondering who I was. And then I just shook his hand and said, no, good luck, I hope you win the Ballon d'Or. So that's my memories of the FIFA President's Lounge, yeah.
Mate, that's like, I don't know how to comprehend the story, because anybody who plays football wants to get that elite stage.
Yeah.
And very little people will ever achieve that, never mind being a young kid from Northern Ireland.
No, I know, it's crazy, like, when you think about it. Like, the Ballon d'Or's the biggest ceremony in the world, isn't it? You know,
the most decorated award,
yeah,
for any sport probably in the world.
Yeah.
And you're just chilling there with all the best players in the world.
Yeah. No, it was great. It was a brilliant experience. So after the the President's Lounge, and we went into the Ballon d'Or. I was sitting beside you from Bronkhorst and Wesley Sneijder.
Right.
And Macon was sitting in front of me.
It's so mental. Do you know why I actually laugh at that? Because he was always my right back in FIFA.
Macon?
Oh, mate, he was unbelievable.
People forget about him, don't they?
That he was brilliant.
Messi and Ronaldo were in the front row, but they're only like about 3 or 4 rows ahead of me. Like I could see the back of their head. But do you remember that's the singer Jamie Callum played the piano?
No. Oh, is that the English fella that won the X Factor? No, is that him?
I don't know. I wasn't really into him, but from Bronkhorst was like this here.
Bob, no way.
He was loving him,
Right.
and he kept tapping my knee, going, "Very good." And all he's like, "Oh, he's brilliant." Oh, what's going on here? I'm half rubber. No, it's just happening. Unreal.
Talk to me about the actual ceremony. So that's going on, right? You have a 1 in 10% chance that you're going to win this. Like,
Yep.
You're in there for a reason. And anybody who watches a goal, and I want people to go and watch this, because there's a montage that you can get, and you can see every Puskás goal, the winner from, I think it's 2009 right through to 2022. And I watched that last night. So Ronaldo scores in 2009 the goal against Porto.
I nominated.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hits it from like 40 yards out. It's like a rocket straight
Yeah.
in the net. So that's the caliber that you're up against. The person who actually scored the goal was Hamid Altintop, Turkish fella.
Yeah,
And
he was the winner.
Yeah.
That year, yeah.
If you see the goal and you compare the two of them, I don't think that there's any hope that you don't win that. That's just my own
If
preference.
I'm being honest, I think if Messi or Ronaldo scores the goal that I scored, there's not even a competition.
Absolutely.
He scored a goal, it was from a corner. It was like a Paul Scholes goal. Did you watch it?
Aye, so the clipped in from a corner from
And
the
he's
left hand side, and he's just caught it in the volley. And it's not even like it's hit the bar in. It's not like it's went stanch. It's kind of just went to the right of the goalkeeper in the middle of it.
You see, it was down to a vote. That's what I was sort of thinking. Like, people were voting from all around the world, and I just thought, well, he's got the whole of Turkey voting for him.
100%.
Plus, he was playing for Real Madrid at the time.
Right.
But he scored a goal for his country, Turkey. I was told I came second. I don't know how accurate it is, I think. And there's also a video on YouTube. It shows you them in order. So Elton Top, and then it was me. So if it was second, that's...
An incredible achievement.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. Like,
I think you're being modest, mate. If that's me, I'm like, that guy. My goal was better than that. Alton Top doesn't have a clue where he's at. He's just caught it in the volley. Now, don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievable goal. He hits it, he catches it straight as not, and goes straight in the net. But the reason why it annoyed me watching it is because I have down here the same thing. Do you think that if you played at a higher level and you were more recognised as a person, Matty Burrows played Championship or Premiership, scored this goal?
Yeah. No,
there's probably a bigger chance that you're actually going to win that because you have a name, not just because you're from Northern Ireland and you're playing in the Irish Prem.
What's it? There's probably half of this country were probably voting against me as well. Linfield fans would probably...
Linfield going against him, Alton Top, 100%.
No, but just to get over there and have the experience is something. I just remember everything. Like, my memory wouldn't be the best at times, like, but I remember everything about that, you know.
I'm glad you took it in.
I was on the drink too.
Right.
I was on the
unbelievable
champagne all night. I was drinking Jack Daniels and Cokes on the plane. Pints in the lobby, as I was telling you. So that was probably to kill the nerves too, like, because whenever they were calling out the winner, it was like a wee countdown thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like keeping you. My heart was racing like mad.
Was it?
Like, really, I went flip me. Like, it was on Eurosport Live. Actually, there was people actually see me in the crowd. You know, and you could see
there's probably snippets. There's probably close-ups, like when it gets down, like who's this, and your name's probably been plastered absolutely everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
Must be nice too when you sit around these players and they're coming to you and saying, "We think that you deserve to win this. Like, your goal's the best goal out of them all. You should win this." Must be such an unbelievable feeling to be like, I play with you in FIFA, mate, and you're telling me that my goal is the best goal in the world. Like.
Yep. No, 100%. Ronaldo, actually, Thomas Kane interviewed him after, and they showed him the goal and said, like, what do you think of this goal? He says it should win. He says, why do you think that? He said, it's the most difficult. It's the best goal. And they says, could you do it? And he says, no, probably not. But he laughed like he probably could do it.
Probably could. Man's a robot. Like, the only thing...
That's what he said. But so people like that there are saying that it's the best goal and it should win.
It should be like...
He must know.
I think there's one of the things too that they're saying now, that it shouldn't be left up to a vote. It should be voted by players. And other players would have voted probably for what they think the best goal was. Instead, as you say, you could have Turkey. Turkey's a massive country.
Yeah.
And they go, one of our players nominated for this, everybody's on that voting, let him win it because we want him to represent our country there.
Yeah.
Whereas if the players do that, the players are going, technically that's by far the best goal. Yeah. And one thing that annoyed me the most probably when I was doing my research, mate, is Van Persie wins it in 2017 and he scores a backheel for Arsenal.
I don't even remember that.
It's very similar to yours.
Is it?
Very similar. You done yours 7 years before it. Yeah. And yours is more difficult. He hits it and it comes off the bar and goes in. It's at the Emirates. Yeah. And I'm sitting going, he's won that because he's Van Persie and he's, do you know what I mean? He's at that level.
I'm sure Arsenal have a lot of fans.
No, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So I was like thinking to myself, God, he's in a massive shout here. But when you've compared about the same goals, they're equally as difficult. His comes off the bar, yours goes straight in the top corner.
Yeah.
But geez, yours was done. It was more difficult in my opinion, like.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Great story though.
Yeah.
But one of those stories that no one's ever gonna experience probably again from here.
Yeah, I hope somebody does, from the Irish League, gets the chance to go. But as I said, I think it'll be difficult, for FIFA to recognise somebody else, from this country.
So you come back then, you've had this unbelievable high, you've met all these players, you've got all these photographs, you're still riding the wave, and then you have to come back and play against Ballymena on a Thursday.
Well, the way I didn't play in that match.
You didn't play at all?
No, I only stayed in that hotel one night and we were up early in the morning and we had to travel back to Dublin. So I did. So he left me out of the squad that night.
They make you travel?
What?
They make you travel to a game?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't
know. I don't remember.
Bit of a nightmare drive, that.
But the backheel, it was on Soccer AM. It was everywhere, but it was on Soccer AM the Saturday. So the next week, I was playing against Glentoran and I scored an overhead kick. It's on YouTube too. And it was on Soccer AM. So it was 2 weeks in a row. We beat Glentoran 4-2. I scored 2. But by this point, because probably the media attention you're getting, everything, my confidence was sky high. Anyway, I just went on this run. I was scoring every week for Glentoran at that point.
Mm-hmm. What's it like though whenever you come back, as you say, you're rich in form, confidence through the roof. You play, I think you end up 3 hat-tricks, 23, 24 goals that season. 3
hat-tricks, yeah, 23. Actually, it was 24, but Alfred I stole one only.
Tapped it in the line, did I?
Well, I'd hit one from outside the box. I think the keeper got a tip to it. It hit off the inside of the post, went over the line, and came back out and he's tapped it in. So I think he got the goal because we were joint top goal scorers.
Right.
But listen, they give it to him, so it's his.
Sneaky dog.
But as a striker, you're going, that's mine. And
yeah.
They were telling me they were in alignment.
It was in. It was in. You got it.
They give it to him, so it is what it is.
You play at the Glens then. You've came back, obviously, as I say, touched on. You've had this unbelievable high, unbelievable story. You end up at the Glens for about 3.5 years. Why does that come to an end?
Well, Scott Young was the manager. I loved playing for Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So Alan McDonald had left and then Scott came in. That's when I was getting my chance, basically, under him. But we went through a wee bad period. When Scott had left, we got beat by Newington in the Irish Cup, 1-0 at Deauville, and we should never have been getting beat by Newington. But the players that we had, we had all the ball, we just didn't create nothing. And I think it was just too much for him to handle, and he resigned.
Right.
So Roy Coyle had come in, temporary. But at that time, Glentoran were going through a lot of financial difficulties. We're asking players to take pay cuts and stuff like that there, and just Roy Coyle was in charge. Actually, before Scotty left, I forgot about that there. Actually, I was in contact with someone in a Spanish club. I had 1 year left in my Glentoran contract, so it was Torrevieja in the 3rd tier in Spain.
Right.
and I was in contact with our director. He was actually an expat from here, but he was a director with Torrevieja. My mum and dad has a villa there.
Right.
And it's only like 20-minute drive from there. So I made a decision to go over for a trial.
Right.
Thinking, right, like, well, somewhere there, I can live there. It's not that far. And I've 1 year left at Glentoran, so if it doesn't work out, I can always go back. So that's the way I was thinking. So we ended up there. I was there for a couple of months, doing well I thought I was doing well in training and the matches and stuff like that, scoring goals in training. Not speaking Spanish wasn't ideal, like,
Yeah.
have to say, but it was a good experience. You were training like 5 nights a week, and then you were training on a Saturday. So I was trying to impress this guy, this manager, for like 2 months, and then he got a scouting job at Osasuna.
Right.
And he left, and I didn't know what was happening, because they kept telling me they were going to give me a contract. And then he had left, and another Spanish manager came in, so I didn't know. I was like, oh no, I have to do this all over again. Like,
So you actually went and kind of moved over?
my mum and dad has a villa there. They don't live there. They use it like as a holiday home. So I was sort of like, right, well, somewhere to live. I'll go over for the experience.
And the Glens were okay for you, just to be like,
I
go ahead.
like fair play to it.
Unbelievable.
So I'm saying, I think they actually Scotty gave me a guard of honour. The players were playing a European game at home, and that was my last match, and I wasn't expecting it at all. I was like, what's going on here? No, the players just opened up. And I was clapping the fans and stuff like that there, but went away anyway, and ended up, after that manager left, I sort of was thinking twice, started getting homesick and stuff like that there, and I ended up moving home. So I rang Scotty, and he brought me back into the team. Yep, so I think I scored against the Distillery there in my first game back. And then I don't really remember much. I think we won a bad run, and then Scotty resigned after that Newington game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roy Coyle came in. And he wasn't playing me, so I went in once. I never really spoke to Roy Coyle, he never spoke to me, but I asked him, like, why am I not playing, stuff like that there, and he just says, if you put the weight on in Spain. And I was like, what? I was like, I've never been put the weight on in my life. I've always been the same.
Yeah.
He's like, what's that all about? I just didn't fancy it. I was like, but Gary Hampton was on to me. He was on to me a good few times in the phone. He just got the player manager job at Glenavon.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I'd played with him. He seemed keen to sign me, so I made the decision to go to Glenavon.
What was it like going to Glenavon, playing for Gary, who's a teammate, and then goes in as a manager? Did you find that difficult, or were you like, nah, it's sweet, like he's a mate, I'm just going to
No, it was normal. Completely normal. Glenavon's a great club. Everything's done for you. No, good setup.
Great club, yeah.
But they were kind of, I think the main aim was to fight relegation when he came in.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to keep Glenavon in the league so he could maybe build something the following season. So, no, I think I done decent enough. I think, well, Gary must have thought anyway the first half, because he pulled me into his office one night at training. He had a bit of paper in front of me, says Cole Rain's wanting to sign you, and he just threw it in the bin. And he says, you're not going. I didn't even get the razor and
Got it.
So,
well, I'm staying now.
Yep.
And then how long did you sign a new deal then with him to
I
stay?
think I signed a year's deal. I don't think it was.
You signed a year's deal the next
a year or 2 years
from
I think
the
it was
Glens?
one.
Right,
Right,
okay.
from the Glens.
Okay.
But it was January I went. I went in January. January to January. What was it? Aye, so that first half of the season we stayed up anyway. And then the second part, it was when things started to go. I wasn't enjoying it as much. I think my confidence was a wee bit infected. They brought in Guy Bates. So Guy Bates was playing up front with Hamilton. Hamilton was obviously player manager, so it's going.
Getting that appearance.
Confidence was there. I didn't know. But Niall Curry was on to me at Ards. They were running away with the championship. Well, they were doing well in the championship. They were top of the league. And I'd already played under Niall, and he got the best out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I needed to go get my confidence back, get my sharp, just get your thing back.
Bit of security too. Once you know somebody who trusts you and plays a style of football that suits you in your game.
I well, he knew me. Do you know what I mean? And
Makes it easy.
Even at Lockall, like things he used to say to me on Saturday night, he used to text you and go, "You're sounding like a beacon." I used to love all that.
Right.
So
He's a very, I wouldn't say a strange man, but he's out there, like.
I love.
Nah, he's brilliant. He's good crack.
Aye.
I've had a few run-ins with Niall, and all positive. Like he's brilliant. He's got really good charisma, really good energy about him. Like, but you can tell he's done well from with Portadown at the minute because
He's done a brilliant job over last season. Portadown, yep, definitely.
So that was mainly the reason why you wanted to go back. You're saying going, I feel confident with that. I know him. I know what he can do.
Yeah.
You were happy enough to go to Yards then?
I think that's the first time in sort of my life, my career, where I realised I was a confidence player, because I was always playing. I was always really confident until then. So I went to Yards, who were obviously flying, had a good side. They were looking to get promoted in the Irish League, and I scored a few goals, 14 appearances or something made for them, but I scored a few goals, but I was getting chances that I would have put away before, and I wasn't scoring them. It starts playing in your mind, you know. So that was another January move, actually. I went in January, and then at the end of the season, won the league. And then I think Niall knew I wasn't myself as well, but we had a chat on the phone. He says, look, I need to get back to your best and stuff like that there. And he said, I'm going to offer you another deal, or another 1 year deal for the Premier League, to go up in the Premier League. And I was like, great, accepted it. And then I think there was a few pre-season friendly games, then there was a change, and I think he brought in someone else, and he was like, I think you should go and get your form back and stuff like that. So when not that long, I got a phone call from Skell at the Welders, and the deal was done pretty quickly to go there. And we weren't really doing too well when I went to the Welders. It was sort of, I think Skell ended up leaving. Gary Smith came in. He started scoring goals there, and I was scoring a lot of, well,
Gary got the confidence.
I was sharp. I was feeling myself. I was scoring goals the way I was.
That's another wee pitch there at the Welders back in the day.
I think it's worse than it Duns.
I think so too, actually. Well,
definitely
definitely.
Centre circle.
It was mental. If you passed it straight, it used to like go up and down.
Yeah.
It's like the best mini golf course in the world. Yeah. If you're playing.
So we ended up scoring 18 by February. I was top goal scorer at the end of the season, but I got injured in training. I'd done my cartilage on a 3G pitch.
Right.
And the knee surgeon says, like, you have a 60% chance of playing again. So
right.
I was sort of accepted it. It was just like, well, it is what it is. If I can play again, I can play again. If I can't, I can't. So when would it be? From when I got injured, I think it was a year and a half. And Mark Snabbles, he had contacted me, I think, at the time, social media, and he asked me to come down. Darren Lockhart was now the manager of the Dons. So I said, Snabbles, like, I need to build a muscle up here. I don't know what I'm going to be like. I don't know. But he says, we'll come down to training. So it took me a good while. It took me near a season to get fit.
Right.
And we were struggling. They were changing the league about. It was like the top 5 teams were going down, relegated out of Irish League football. And that would have been a tragedy for Dundela. Like, we didn't really have a good side that season, to be honest. So it ended up, we didn't win like 2 games in a row the whole season. And it ended up, we needed to win our last 4.
Okay.
To keep the Dons in the Championship 2, and then still in Irish League football. And that's when I hit form.
Right.
So I ended up scoring every match, and we won every match. But there was one against Coke United. It was up there, up at Coke, and it was 2 each, and I got a one-on-one with the keeper and put it in the bottom corner. It was like 90th minute. So it saved us, because we needed obviously to win the matches, but it relegated Coke at the time too. So yeah, we ended up winning them games and we stayed up. Then that was me. I felt like I was not back to my best because I had that knee injury. Still getting a bit of pain and stuff like that there. I probably lost a bit of pace. I think I did lose a bit of yard. But the second season, I ended up scoring 28. We were a lot better the second season. I'd won the Steel Sons Cup before with the Dons, and I was scoring every round. So I was scoring every round this time, and I thought that was maybe a good omen. But then we got beat in the final by Linfield Swiss 3-1. Didn't score this time.
No.
That was it.
See, whenever you talk about coming back in, then you've obviously had the injury. You kind of get back in the swing of things under Gary Smith. Sorry to go back to the Welders, but was it not an option for you to stay at the Welders and just rehab and get yourself back, or was it just a thing where you're like,
I suppose they probably weren't going to pay my wages when I was injured. I didn't even know if I was going to be, playing again. So it was one of them ones. So I just went. I just left.
Were you
just like out there, and
we weren't content then, just to be like, you know what, I'll just sit out for a while and see what happens, or was it like, I'll just get myself fit and go back in? Because it kind of seems like you were like, do you know what, take it or leave it at the minute.
Yeah, no, it was. I spoke with the club and that was it. I just went the other way, and they paid for the MRI scan. Once I got the MRI scan, I brought the knee surgeon. He was like, "What the have you done here?" He said, "I've been doing this 10 years, and I've never seen anything like your knee." And I was like, "Flip, that doesn't sound too good." And that's when he said you have a 60% chance of playing again. So I had to go and tell the welders this, and then I don't think the board then, they were like,
yeah, we're going to keep him on here. We'll probably ease it.
So that was it. That was fine. So I left and ended up, I was able to play again, and back into it again.
See, that season you go back to the Duns and you start banging them in again. So that you have that first wee spell where it doesn't really go your way, the confidence kicks in, you kind of stay up, and then the following season you kind of smash it again.
Yeah.
Is there not an option for you to potentially go back to the Premiership? Like, anybody that scores 28 goals in the Championship, more than likely there's at least 1, 2 or maybe 3 clubs going, somebody needs to take a chance on Matty Burrows again.
I don't know. I think with my knee, it was limiting me in I lost a bit of pace, and then my knee was limiting me, to what I could do. I felt, when I was twisting and turning, stuff like that there. Niall actually did try and sign me again for Portadown.
Right.
And they were in the Premier, and he told me, I'm going to start against Cliftonville on Saturday and all the rest of it. I agreed a deal, and then I changed my mind the next day and texted him, and he said, "I'm not coming."
Right.
I just changed my mind, I don't know. Just didn't feel right. He didn't even text back. He probably wasn't happy with me, like. But
in fairness, so you kind of,
I was being honest with myself.
You probably have a thing there to say to him, here, you kind of sacked me off for the first time, like.
I know.
Probably playing the back of your mind.
I
know I would play in the back of my mind. I'd be like, you've reached out to me, I've signed for you, and then you've told me you're going to give me a new deal, I've signed a new deal, and then you told me go get fit, go somewhere else. I ain't coming back to play for you, like, do you know what I mean? That would be the way I would be.
I suppose it was in my head, like, I've spoken to Niall since. I haven't hold grudges against anyone, like, but
no.
I like Niall, but at the time I was a wee bit annoyed about that.
100%.
I don't know. So I agreed a deal and then didn't go.
Right.
I was meant to go up to Shamrock Park the following night. He said, "Your gear and all's here," and blah blah. So he probably told the board that I was coming, then he had to go back to the board and say he's not coming. So he didn't even reply to my message. I don't remember exactly what I said. But
it's not happening now. All the best.
It probably was something like that. Although, good luck or something.
Yeah. So did you stay then at the Welder? Did you stay at Dundela? Did you have another season?
That was at First Bangor. I went to First Bangor after that.
Right.
So, the car was off road and I was struggling to get lifted at Duns, and I went to First Bangor, and that's where Niall tried to sign me from, First Bangor. Scored 20. I was starting to get all these wee niggly injuries, you see, as well. No, I was scoring goals, but I was like, I done one on my foot. That was the main one. I still got this day. It's like I go to sprint and I feel like I've been shot in the foot and just go down.
Right.
So I don't know if I need an operation. It's only when I'm sprinting, like sometimes, or it gets sore. So you need to strap your foot up every match before you're playing. So I think it was more on my foot and then a wee bit of my knee, but that's probably why I didn't go to Portadown. Do you know what I mean?
In the back of your head, you're thinking, like, I'm not even going to be able to play at this level, so maybe just...
I don't know. It's just... I just didn't fancy it in the end, but... ended up joining top scorer. Still, I was injured quite a lot that season, but I was 25 or something the First Bangor, and I'll try to sign me. It didn't go. And then Bangor came in for me. They were leading the Ballymena League. They wanted to sign me, so Bangor was my hometown club. I jumped at it, to be honest. Like,
you signed a year or 2 years?
It was decent for them. It was just it was the end of the season. Just the end of the season. No, was it? I can't my memory's bad. Right. Might have been a year. But no, whenever I played for Bangor, I scored 7 of 14. It was alright. A few of them were off a bench, but I was come to the end. I knew I was come to the end then. So I was just happy to be playing with Bangor. We won a cup, we won the league. And that was Bangor back in the Irish League football, and they needed that massively.
Were you kind of waiting it out thinking, I'll get the end of the season and then I'm kind of hit or miss whether I'm going to continue on, or were you thinking, I'll get another year and then maybe that'll call it quits?
No, what happened was, I think they'd signed me for another year, and then I chose to go to Lisburn Rangers.
Okay.
And once I went to Lisburn Rangers, that was it for me, because of the, no disrespect to them, but the players I was playing with were sort of down near the bottom, but the wingers, you're making good runs into the box, and they're hitting it out for throw-ins and stuff like that there. I started getting really frustrated and just lost interest, and then I stopped going to training. And I ended up texting Billy Yule one day, and I just said, look, that's me done. I've wrapped it. I've just retired. Wasn't enjoying it no more, and then I had my foot problem. That was me done at 33, and I haven't even missed football since.
No?
No.
Not at all?
Not really. Well, I miss the feeling of scoring goals, but
you don't get
really,
there.
No, you're right. You can go, as I was telling you before, I went skiing there in February, and wee things I got there you wouldn't be able to do. Do you know what I mean?
Your
go
time's
out the weekend or something like that, or
your time's limited when you
take
play.
days away somewhere.
You're now knowing the benefits of not playing and getting your Tuesday, Thursday nights, and your Saturdays are back, and the missus can't be shouting at you, or your family can't be telling you what to do because you don't have to go on a Saturday anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, no, I just enjoy just doing my own thing now, and I had a good crack at the football anyway. Like, I had some good memories, and I have a lot of good things to look back on. So, like, probably I wouldn't say I've got regrets in my career. I'm probably more disappointed. I feel I could have been a better player than what I was. I've had to work on other parts of my game instead of relying on my speed, playing the shoulder and just wanting to go.
There was a coach there to try and develop you into doing different things. You feel like you would have added those attributes and maybe kicked on.
Especially now, sure, Glentoran were all full time, so
exactly
we weren't full time then, but it is what it is.
Any idea of like coaching or doing anything, or are you just that content? You're just like, do you know what? I'm out of football. I want to stay out of it. Or would you be like, I'd take away your kids' team, or?
Yeah, well, I was asked there recently a few times to coach a kids' team, so I'm thinking about it. I don't know what to do. Maybe do it in the future, but then the odd amateur league team, it sort of would ask you to
come back
and play, and I sort of agreed to it, and then I changed my mind. So I'm like, nah, I don't think I'll go back and play, but maybe coach a kids' team, and maybe that's something I'd be interested in. Yeah,
fair enough. Well, listen, thank you. I don't think we continued on. Your story's incredible. Thank you very much for reaching out. I'm so glad that we were able to strike up a deal to get you on, mate. I really appreciate it. But again, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all.
Cheers.
Join us next week on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. This guest has been around and done it all. He's played, he's reffed, and he's now a photographer. Do you know who it is? See you soon.